online Monarch. That's all AOP curriculum. That's what this whole curriculum chat is about. So Horizons, LifePac, Monarch. It gets confusing because AOP, like if somebody says to you, what curriculum do you use? Nobody is going to say AOP. So when I do my videos about the curriculum, people are like, wait, what's AOP? AOP is not the actual program. AOP is Alpha Omega Publications. They are the curriculum publishing company that essentially owns all this curriculum. The specific curriculum programs, though, are your Horizons, LifePac, which is the boxes you see behind me, and then Monarch is their online program. So it gets a little confusing because you hear me say AOP. That is the publishing company that encompasses Horizons, LifePac, and Monarch. So it gets confusing, but you can use them interchangeably. When I talk about the individual curriculums themselves, though, like I'll just be sure to let you know which one I'm talking about. Yes, Caitlin, it's just AOP. AOP sponsored this live just for me to come on and answer all the questions about all the new curriculum and stuff that they sent me and the curriculum that we're using. Do you know if they will ship to an APO? They should, EJ. I will, I'm gonna write down that question and make sure. I'll check into that for you. I don't see why not. They're a really reputable curriculum company. They've been around forever. So I feel like the answer should be yes, but I don't want to steer you wrong. This is the math one. Somebody was asking about the LifePac math. I just opened this like 5 minutes before the live, so I'm super excited. Trying to decide between Christian Light and LifePac. Okay, I know that is a huge question for a lot of people. Christian Light Education, which is the curriculum that you know we've been using forever for specific subjects, versus LifePac, because they're very similar in terms of their design. I'm gonna open these up and show you, but the two curriculum like structures could not be more different. So what I'm gonna show you here is the LifePac. So this is math, but LifePac is all the subjects. They have every subject. I'm just showing you the math right now. This is a whole year of math right here. And instead of them giving you one big fat giant textbook, they give you these unit workbooks. So this is like the most appealing thing about LifePac, is that you don't just have one big book that they're working through, you kind of graduate up to each unit workbook. The greatest difference between LifePac and pretty much any other curriculum that has these broken down workbooks is that this LifePac curriculum is a mastery-based curriculum. So what that means is this workbook that I'm holding right here, this is Unit 1. When you open up your unit workbook, whether it's Unit 1, Unit 5, it doesn't matter, it's gonna tell you right here, whole numbers and fractions. This whole unit workbook is only going to be on whole numbers and fractions, and they're gonna only work on those skills until they master it, and then they can graduate to the next workbook. All the other curriculums out there that are spiral-based, including Christian Light Education, they don't just focus on one topic and then move on. They're like focusing on 5 or 6 topics at a time, and they're spiraling through, and you're constantly going back and reviewing. Now with LifePac, this does have review in it. Like we've been using their LifePac Bible for the last like 3 years. They're getting a new skill within these workbooks, but they are still going back and reviewing. It's just not as heavy as a spiral-based curriculum. So LifePac is mastery. The other thing about LifePac is that this is really like an independent type curriculum, meaning you could literally just hand this workbook to your kid and be like, here you go, have fun, go teach yourself, because they actually have all of the lesson instructions and everything right here in the workbook for them. It does have a teacher's guide, so LifePac includes a teacher's guide, but look how small. Then the teacher's guide is nice because this is your answer key, but it's not a giant script because this is an independent curriculum. Your child could do this completely on their own. With me, I like to sit there and read, like when we do the Bible, for example. This Bible LifePac curriculum, I do read through the lesson with my daughter, but it's not necessary. She could sit there and read through the lesson herself. So independent-based curriculum, workbook style, but it's mastery. Christian Light Education is also workbook style, but is spiral. So that is like the biggest difference. Just because you see a bunch of mini workbooks does not mean they're treated equally. Yeah, I know, it gets so confusing. There are so many curriculums out there, and like I was saying earlier, when you hear me say AOP, it's like, wait a minute, what is AOP? Like what? I've never heard of that curriculum. That's because it's not a curriculum. It's the company that publishes Horizons, LifePac, and Monarch. Does LifePac have a test to see where your kid would be? Yes. So every LifePac level and Horizons as well, they have placement tests on AOP's website. Everything is linked to my page and it's all free. Like there's free samples, there's free placement tests. And with LifePac, because it's mastery based, what's cool about this is when your child goes back with a spiral curriculum, when they're going back and reviewing old concepts, if they're behind, it can be very overwhelming to have to go back and review skills that they don't even know. With a mastery-based curriculum, you can kind of hang out on the same topic for as long as you need. You don't have to worry about the spiral going back constantly if you feel like they're a little bit behind, right? Like this one I'm holding up is math. Same goes for all of the levels, right? So the boxes that you see up here, this is LifePac. What's cool about this, let me move this camera up. Like this is the whole year of 4th grade. This is what they sent me because my daughter's going into 4th grade. The only experience I personally had with LifePac was the Bible curriculum and we loved it. So when they sent me this 4th grade level LifePac and I just opened it up today, this is the whole year. It's so convenient to not have a bajillion different, teacher's guides and things that you got to make room for on your shelf. Everything just comes in these little boxes and then they're in these little individual not light units, but unit workbooks. I'm planning to buy the UFL. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, hierarchy. I don't know what the acronym is. Okay. Yes. So Missy has multiple kids and she's asking, is it one purchase like for one kid only? Yes. So for example, I have a 4th grader. So if I wanted to do LifePac for every single subject for my 4th grader, this is what it would look like. I would order the 4th grade kit is what they call it, the kit. But I also have a 1st grader. So if I needed it for my 1st grader, I would order the 1st grade level kit. Yes. Okay. Kristen is asking if it's cheapest to buy it now. So this code that you see up here, and by the way, none of this is commission based. I don't make like anything from any of this, okay? This is not a commission thing. They basically gifted me this code to give to you guys 20% off, which is like super good deal for them. Usually they'll do like little 10% off or 15% off here, but they gave me that code for 20% off. So yeah, this is the time to do it. Now, that's not the end of the sales. Like they're going to have more sales coming up, but it will not be that much. That's why we scheduled this live for this week because that's the 20% off this week. Yes. Okay. So Monarch, Trisha, I'm going through the comments here. So Trisha was asking about the Monarch as an add-on. It is totally up to you. Monarch is their online program. So Monarch is AOP curriculum as well, but instead of bookwork style, like I was just showing you with the LifePac, it's online. This starts at 3rd grade though. So if you got a kindergarten 1st or 2nd grader, you're probably looking more at like Horizons or the LifePac that I was just showing you. The Monarch online starts at 3rd grade. It goes all the way to 12th grade. And Trisha, you were asking if it's an add-on or if it's like a standalone curriculum. You can do it either way. Some people just use Monarch for electives because they do have really cool elective courses on here. Or you can just use it as your full curriculum. Your kid logs in every day. They see their courses right there. They click on the course and they do it all independently. So that Monarch is an interesting one. Now, we haven't personally used Monarch fully. Like I played around with some of the courses and stuff, but that is one that I recommend for like if you're a full-time working homeschool family and you don't have the time to teach every single lesson yourself, Monarch online or even the LifePac. Because like I said, this is independent. They could read the full lesson on their own and do it on their own. If you got a younger kiddo using LifePac, like I said, I kind of sit with them and do the lesson part with them and then they do the independent work by themselves. It's flexible. Rooted Mama, how do you feel about Monarch? So I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. Monarch, when I first tried Monarch a couple years ago, it was not super user-friendly. I was like, I don't know, adding the courses and whatnot. Well, they got an upgrade. Like they redid their whole platform and design. And I went in and I added a bunch of courses for my kid, just playing around with it. It is so much better. It's so much better. So if you've tried Monarch before and you could not figure out like the parent dashboard, it wasn't very user-friendly, they got an upgrade. And I will say it's much more easy to navigate. All the families that I do homeschool evaluations for that are using Monarch, most of them are using Monarch as their full curriculum. Like their kid literally logs in every day, clicks on their course, does their course, it grades it for you, the transcripts, all the reporting that gets sent to your email makes transcripts really easy when it's time to do that. They all are having great success with it. So we are using Horizons and LifePac. So we're not using Monarch fully, but the families that I know that are using it are having really good success with it, especially the new platform. Caitlin, how much are all these? The LifePac, for example, like a full, let me show you. And you can go, when you go to their website, like you can see it, it'll have the price right there for you. If you buy the full grade level, like this is all of 4th grade, math, language, arts, Bible, science, and history and geography, and you just buy the kit, I want to say it was like 400 something. And that's every subject for the entire 4th grade level or whatever the grade level is. Monarch has a couple different options, which by the way, Monarch does have an online free trial too. You can go do the free trial before you do anything. And that coupon code for the 20% off is for Monarch as well. That Monarch is interesting because you can pay for like the full access where you can get every single course, add as many courses as you want, or you can pay by like a course by course basis. So you kind of have to look and play around with that. Chelsea, 520 without the 20%. Really? I thought the 4th, maybe, yeah, you could be right because like the 4th grade I thought was like in the 400s, but maybe that was with the 20% off. Thank you. Yes. Oh my gosh, Caitlin, thank you for asking that. This is a Christian curriculum, like AOP, Alpha Omega Publications. It's within the name, right? Alpha Omega. Christian based. And the question that I get all the time is like, is it like Christian-ish enough that we could like skip over the religious parts? No, like AOP, which I as a Christian like this, but AOP is definitely one that doesn't skimp on the Christianity. So even the health curriculum, for example, which by the way, their health curriculum is phenomenal. We are using this. We're going to use it again next year. Even the health curriculum, like when we're talking about the body systems, and we talk a lot about how like God created us. And so my point is, yes, it's Christian. No, you can't really get away with skipping the religion parts. Maybe like the math, you know, math is one of those subjects that you can kind of play around with, but no, they're Christian. Oh yes, the preschool. So Baby D, yes, we use both their preschool for 3s and their preschool for 4s. So this big blue book that you see this in a lot of my videos. This is the 4-year-old level preschool. So this, you could start at age 4, or if you're not sure, you can always back up a year and do their age 3 preschool. But they do have 2 different levels of preschool. We've used them both. So this is the preschool for 4s, and then the preschool for 3s, literally for a 3-year-old, which is so cool. Not many companies offer a 3-year-old curriculum. We're using this right now with my 3-year-old. It is so sweet. I just love it. They use actual photographs for a lot of their stuff. There's like little crafts built into it. Super gentle, super sweet, not a million materials that you have to grab. It's all right here for you. You know, your basic shapes and your colors, and it slowly introduces them to more academic things. Right? Like even this, like it was a little matching game. We didn't actually cut it out. She was just matching the animal to its, you know, habitat. Just cute things like that. Chelsea, thank you for putting that in there. 1st grade, it's so funny you said that too. Chelsea said the 1st grade is, I think you're talking about LifePac, right? The 1st grade is $552 and the rest are $468. I was just telling my husband today that when I taught 1st grade in the classroom, 1st grade was the hardest grade to teach. If you've been a teacher, you know. And it is the most intensive, and you need the most materials because of learning to read and like the beginning math. And so it's always funny to me that when you go to look at the price of curriculum, 1st grade ends up being more because it just fits with what 1st graders need. Yeah, the LifePac, I'm telling you guys, the LifePac, we are pretty set in the curriculums that we use right now, which we do use LifePac for our Bible, but this is one like middle school. I'm a little intimidated by middle school, and this is one, or even the online Monarch, that I am heavily considering because I just love the convenience of this. Like literally, here is the entire year. All your workbooks are inside. I do want to show you guys, I was playing around with this geography one, and this is 4th grade geography. So I'm just going to keep that in mind when I show you this. First of all, the fact that geography is a standalone subject with LifePac, I really appreciate, because you know how geography is one of those subjects where like curriculum companies will just try to kind of integrate it in wherever. AOP LifePac has it as a standalone subject, history and geography. And I was playing around with this, so this is just unit 1. But like, look how detailed this is. This is just the student workbook. And this is what I mean by the lesson and the student work is all within the same unit workbook. Like your child would sit down, open up the lesson, read through the information, and then do the independent practice. But I just was really impressed by this history and geography. This is unit 4. So again, it progresses. Like unit 1 would obviously be the beginning of the 4th grade year. Unit 4 would be more towards the middle. But like, I feel like for the price, that's like really good quality. It's all photographs, right? You get your maps in there, you get your photographs. You don't have to use a separate map. Everything's included. I just thought that was cool. So that's LifePac. Okay, so Amanda's asking, does LifePac have a spelling curriculum? So this is another thing that's interesting about LifePac. They have language arts, and this is going to include all language arts skills. So notice there's not a separate reading. Your language arts encompasses all of that. Your writing, your reading, your spelling. By the 4th grade level, phonics aren't as heavy, but in those lower levels, your phonics will also be included with your language arts. I'm seeing if it says, okay, I'm gonna read you. So this is the language arts. This is what I mean by this. Language arts emphasizes the development and improvement of your students' communication skills. All language arts skills are integrated into a single learning approach. So you don't have like a separate writing and reading and phonics and spelling. It's all within one. I am considering Horizons Language Arts for 3rd. Any experience with Horizons? Okay, if you are thinking about Horizons, which that's what you see over here, just beware that their phonics program, which is really good, stops after 3rd grade. So typically families that are using Horizons, and a lot of private schools, this is a big private school curriculum, Horizons, kindergarten, well, preschool, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and then there's no more phonics and reading. So typically families will go Horizons until that 3rd grade level, and then they'll switch over to that LifePac. So just keep that in mind. I will show you though, I do have the Horizons spelling that I want to show you guys. Now, this was one when we were on the scholarship program in Florida. I bought this on a whim. Let me see, where'd it go? Here it is. So she was asking about the 3rd grade level. This was the spelling and vocabulary. Horizons does separate theirs. So like their spelling and vocabulary is in one book, their phonics and reading would be in another. This was the 3rd grade spelling. And this is also one that a lot of private schools use. You can see the spelling tests are done right in the book. We never ended up using it, to be honest with you. I bought it, like I said, we had that scholarship in Florida, and I was like, I really want to check this out. It's pretty decent. Like you get your spelling list every week. You know, you practice your spelling skill. They do their tests right in the book. It's a lot of phonics practice, of course, with the spelling. So that's the 3rd grade level, though. I don't have the 3rd grade, like, reader books and stuff like that. I just had this. I had to do a different program to teach basic phonics before starting Horizons Kinder. Okay, so I do have the Horizons kindergarten program right here, and I am going to show you guys this because Horizons Kindergarten, like she was saying, I had to teach them their phonics skills before the program. This is the very first book of the Horizons Kindergarten Phonics and Reading, and it does start by teaching your basic letter sounds. Like A says ah, and we talk about the letter sounds, and we start tracing the A's and, you know, circling the pictures that start with A. This is the first book of the kindergarten program with Horizons. This program moves fast. Some people love that. I think that's why a lot of private schools use it. Some people love that. Some people are like, I think it's moving a little too fast. So I just want to show you, like this would be book 2. So they finish book 1, then they move into book 2, then they move into book 3. Well, that's 4. You get the point. There's 4 books. So what I like about that is when you're in that level 1 book, if your kid is not grasping those early phonics skills when they're in this level 1 book, I would stay on this. Like I wouldn't move to the next book. That's why I like that they separate it into 4 different levels in the kindergarten, because it's not like one big textbook where you feel pressured to, you know, get through the book in a year. Like you can kind of take your time with this and really hone in on those phonics skills, which is, again, what the private schools do. sadly, in public school, we could not stay on a topic long if the kid wasn't getting it. But in the homeschool, you 100% could. So that's the Phonics and Reading Horizons kindergarten program, 4 separate booklets for the year. It also has like the little reader books, and it's all color coded, right? So this would be reader 3 that goes with the book 3, and all the stories that they read. And this would be at the end of kindergarten. They do not have to read these independently, by the way. With the reader books, you can read it with them. So don't let that scare you. If you just saw the inside of that and like, whoa, that looks hard. Bethany, we love Horizons Kinder, but the teacher's guide is it. That is when somebody asks me what the downsides to Horizons that is literally it. It is an amazing program, but the teacher's guides, like I'll just show you. Here's an example of the teacher's guide. You really have to follow where you're at in the teacher's guide. So like that would be one lesson, right? You give your little introduction. It tells you what to say to your kid, but it's not a script that you're going to read through word for word. And that kind of freaks a lot of parents out. Some people love that though, because you can be more creative with it. But yeah, the teacher's guide is pretty basic. You're not getting a whole bunch of meat and potatoes with the teacher's guide. Same thing. Now, LifePac, though, keep in mind with the LifePac curriculum, this teacher's guide is similar, that you're not getting like a script necessarily, but remember, this is more of an independent curriculum where you could just give your kid the workbook and they do it themselves. Yeah, I know what you mean. I totally get it. How is health for 2nd grade? So we actually started health this year with Horizons with the 3rd grade level and the kindergarten level. And then next year, we got it sent to us already. We're doing 1st grade and 4th grade. So I actually don't have the 2nd grade to show you, but I will show you the 3rd grade level, because that is one curriculum that I will rave about, is the Horizons Health. Very few curriculum companies even have a health curriculum. And to be honest with you, when we started the health last year, I was like, I don't even know if this is necessary. Like, do we really need to be doing a health curriculum? And then when I started actually going through it, I was like, oh, I'm so glad I got this, because there's so many topics, like some like heavy topics. Just keep that in mind. But I appreciate that I probably wouldn't think to sit down and teach my kid. So this is an example of the 3rd grade health. We do a lot of body systems, labeling of the heart, but then it also has, I want to show you, like, here we go, like social skill type things. Like these are the conflict cards where you talk about like having an issue with a friend or something and how would you handle it. So it's not just health like with your body. You know what I mean? It's not just like body systems and things. It's like deep. It's deep. We talk about family issues. It does get into, I don't know what I can, DRUGS in here. So keep that in mind too. DRUGS and ALCHOHOL. I don't know what I can say on here. Heavy stuff. This is the 3rd grade level. In the 4th grade level, right? I was looking through this today. It's kind of along the same lines, right? We're talking about nutrition and body systems and, you know, how to keep your body healthy. We get into like your blood under a microscope, like really almost borderline science curriculum, but also some deep topics about your feelings and, you know, anxiety and things like that. Yeah, super cool. I love the health curriculum. We will probably hold on to this. We'll stick with this health curriculum forever after using it this year. Okay, the LifePac versus the Christian Light. Yep, that's the question that everybody has, because they're both that workbook style. So I don't know, if you're just now coming on, I was showing you that the LifePac curriculum has individual workbooks, right? It's not just one big textbook, it's individual workbooks. This is the history and geography right here. This is a mastery-based curriculum. So it's workbooks, but they're only going to be focusing on one topic per workbook, and they're going to master that skill before you move on to the next workbook. Christian Light and most other curriculums are not mastery. They're spiral, where you have like 5 or 6 different skills going at the same time in one workbook. LifePac, mastery. They stick with one topic. They do go back and review as well, but it's mostly focusing on that one topic. So that is the biggest difference, okay? Another thing is you can clearly see LifePac, they put a lot of effort into making their curriculum super colorful, very engaging. That's why my kids, hey Rebecca, my kids love the Bible because it's like bright and cheery, and not, we can't say that for all other curriculums. So that's another thing that I love about this. This is the new 4th grade one that they just sent me. Literally just sent it to me so I could like look through it and get to know it so I can report back on it. Yes. Do my kids do well with switching curriculum? Yeah. And as a matter of fact, like those of you that have been following me for a while, you know, I swear I feel like I've tried every curriculum under the sun, and we do switch. Like when I realize something's not working, we'll switch right away. I don't wait. I used to be stubborn and I would like stick with a curriculum for way too long. That's what we did with The Good and the Beautiful. We just stuck with it for way too long, and I regret that forever. If you realize something is not working for your kid, just switch. Like do not do what I did and wait. Your kids will adapt. Okay? And think about the school system. In the school system, they adopt a curriculum for 5 years, sometimes more. And if it's not working for the kids, oh well, your district paid a bunch of money for it. They're not getting rid of that. So when you homeschool, change it up as soon as you see that you need to. Hey, Sarah, love you. I'm going to scroll up. I know I have missed. If you are posting a question and I am not getting to it, just literally keep posting it. Do you think preschool for 3s, hey Paloma, will be a good for an autistic? Okay, Bethany or anybody that's interested in the preschool for 3s. So one thing that I can say about that, whether your kid is autistic or not, because I honestly believe any curriculum, no matter what your kid's ability is, you can adapt it to meet their needs. You know what I mean? This is the teacher's guide for 3, okay? So this is the Preschool for 3's teacher's guide. I just want to show you like an example of how flexible this is. So in your teacher's guide for the Preschool for 3s, it shows you your Bible lesson you do together, a little memory verse, there's songs and things that you sing together, super sweet. But then you get into worksheets, and you have multiple worksheets that you can choose from for the lesson, super flexible. So for a 3-year-old, any 3-year-old, autistic or not, they have that really short attention span. And so there are some days where my 3-year-old and I just do one little worksheet together and we're done. There are other days where she's like, Mommy, I want to do more. I want to do more. And especially the little cute crafts and stuff that they have in here. Those are the days, like I kind of let her take the lead. When they're this age, this preschool for 3s, you are not tied to a schedule. You don't have to complete, you know, a specific amount of worksheets per day. We kind of skip around too. Oh, I want to show you this. Hold on, I think it actually shows my phone number. There is a page in here in the preschool for 3s. They also have it in the preschool for 4s. Here, I'll cover up my phone number. But things like this, right? Where they're practicing pressing the buttons to memorize your phone number. Like just smart things to include in a preschool level curriculum that I feel like I haven't seen in other ones before. So I'm a huge proponent for this one. Yeah, Rebecca. Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, Ella, I hope I'm saying your name right. The reading programs, so you're talking 1st grade. So for reading for 1st grade, Horizons, this is the program that I use for preschool, but it goes all the way to 3rd grade. This program, Horizons in general, is like very to the point, which I love. There's no extra fluff. It just gets right to the point. So like a kid that is struggling with really long lessons, if you're talking about like another curriculum that's like 5 or 6 pages a day, this is what I usually recommend, Horizons, because it's like short, sweet, 1 to 2 pages. I'll show you. Here's an example of the kindergarten level. So this would be 1 page, right? This first page, they're not even really doing anything. We're just talking about the sound the letter B makes. They do this back page where they're just circling the pictures that make the B sound. They're finding the B on the bottom there. They're practicing a little bit of B handwriting. And then they're getting some more handwriting practice. And that's it. That is the full independent practice part for your kid compared to Christian Light, for example, or many other curriculums where they're doing like really heavy duty, 5, 6 pages at those early years. So this is the one I typically recommend. But if you have a kid who you think would do better with a mastery-based program where you're not skipping around and reviewing so much and you're kind of just honing in and sticking with one topic, that's the LifePac. That's those individual workbooks where it's mastery based. They stay on one topic per workbook before graduating on to the next workbook. Could I switch from Christian Light Kindergarten to first grade Horizons or LifePac? What I would do, doesn't matter what curriculum you're currently using, if you want to switch to Horizons or LifePac, AOP's website, I know it's backwards in the camera, I'm sorry, but I got everything linked to my page. Placement tests. Go on their website. You can actually, not only do they have placement tests, which when I say some people might not know. When I say placement test, you sit down with your kid, you give them a test, all right? It'll have a bunch of math problems or whatever subject you're looking into. And then the website will tell you, okay, if your kid scored between these two levels, put them in the first grade. If they scored between these two levels, put them in the kindergarten. And sometimes you might have, like my kids, where they're one level for math and a different level for reading. Don't freak out if that happens. But if you're switching from another curriculum, I definitely would check out the placement tests and all the free samples, like everything on the inside of these workbooks, Horizons 2 and Monarch online, free samples, it's all on their website. Middle school, that's what I was, so if you're just tuning in, I was saying that this LifePac curriculum, even though it starts at first grade, like to me, actually it might be even kindergarten, but to me, I feel like this is one that I would lean into for middle school for my personal kids because it's independent. Like you can give them the workbook, they read the lesson on their own, and they do the work on their own, and then you're just checking in with this. And the Monarch program that I was showing, if you're coming in on, I am gonna turn the camera around and like do a full tutorial of Monarch because like I said, they got a little makeover and it looks really cool. But this Monarch program like is really independent. I mean, they just log in, they click on their course each day, they do the lesson, it grades it for them, you get everything emailed to you, it comes up on your parent dashboard. This is very hands-off from the parent standpoint. You just upload their courses at the beginning of the year, you choose what courses you want them to take, and then you just log in and make sure they're doing what they need to be doing. Super, super independent. The learning, yes. Okay, so the Robles family, that learning to read program that you're talking about, that is one downside. Yes, the lessons can be extremely long. So that is why when I was talking about the Horizons, these Horizons, even the kindergarten level, the Horizons lessons are to the point. Like you learn your new skill, you do a little bit of review, and you're done for the day. So whenever I talk to anybody who needs something that kind of fits their schedule a little better when you have younger kids, especially with Horizons, you're sitting with them and doing the lesson. You don't want to be sitting there for like 35 minutes, 40 minutes just to teach a new skill. This program, you get right to the point. And that's it. Like, even though the teacher's guides with Horizons aren't super, super detailed and scripted, I think that's kind of by design because these lessons are meant to be like, get in, get out, learn the skill and move on. And I do have a YouTube video where I talk about my history with Horizons and how I even discovered them was through private school tours. I was touring private schools and like every single private school was using this curriculum. And so I always think to myself, if you're paying money to go to a school and that school is paying money for a curriculum and it's not producing results, they're not going to be using this curriculum. So that always made me feel good about Horizons. Like, okay, clearly it must be working because these private schools are investing money into it. And then when we started using it, I was like, oh, I see now. This would be so nice to have as a teacher because the lessons just get right to the point. No extra fluff and nonsense with this. Okay, Ashley, would you suggest these curriculums for a supplemental support or a whole curriculum? It can go either way. Like for example, Horizons, if you're buying a full grade level, like let's say you want kindergarten Horizons, phonics and reading. This would be your sole phonics and reading program. And I don't know that you would really want to add something to this. Like this is a whole program in itself. Now, the LifePac, this is interesting because you can buy the whole year. Like this is all of 4th grade LifePac, but maybe you just want to do LifePac history. You don't want, like we do LifePac Bible. You can just purchase the individual subjects and use it as a supplement to something else or as your full curriculum. It's so flexible. Same thing with Monarch Online. Like if you just want to use Monarch for an elective class, you can just do that. You don't have to use it as a full curriculum. But every single one of these, LifePac, Horizons, and Monarch are designed to be used as a full curriculum. But it's totally up to you. It's flexible. Kids, I'm going to scroll up because I'm missing all the questions. Do you ever, did I ever make a final video of finishing painting the school shed? I'll show you. It's not a final video because it's actually not even finished, but like the walls are painted, but we got to do like the trim work. The ceiling is still not done. This little corner that I'm in is almost done. That's why it looks pretty. Like I sit here when I do my videos because it's like it looks finished, but it's not 100% finished. But thanks for asking. It's like the never-ending project, I swear. Yes, hierarchy, love ministry, horizons, phonics, and reading does not go past 3rd grade. There are other this is so weird about horizons too. So just keep this in mind. If you really love horizons, it's only the phonics and reading that stops after 3rd grade. The math goes longer. Like the health, we're using their health curriculum, that goes longer. Like specific subjects with horizons goes longer, but it's just that phonics and reading. So typically what happens is families will use horizons till the 3rd grade. They finish the 3rd grade and then they switch over to that LifePac language arts, which is interesting because horizons is spiral based and LifePac is mastery based, but the families that I know that made that switch, it was like a super smooth transition. So if you are going from horizons to LifePac, like don't let that mastery spiral freak you out. So far it seems like it's working just fine. How is the history for horizons? I don't think they have a separate history for horizons. Like they have the health, which is what we're using. They have the history for the LifePac, the geography and history, which is what I was holding here. So they combine the history and geography, which kind of works out because you're already learning about like the different parts of the world. And then they'll put the historical events that happen within that part of the world, right within the lessons. They do that with the Bible too. The Bible curriculum is really, really good. They hit the history and the Bible all in one, and geography. LifePac Science, how do you like it? We had BJU. Tiffany, first of all, I'm not really supposed to I don't know what the rules are because this is like a sponsored live, but we did not have a good experience with BJU either. I just think I have to be careful about like what I say when this is a sponsored live, but us too. We did not like their science at all. The LifePac Science, I'll show you guys that. I'm going to try to organize these a little bit better. So this is the 4th grade LifePac Science. And you can see, again, it's just like the rest of them where everything you need for the whole year is just in this one box. Your teacher's guide is here too with LifePac. But again, this is more of an independent curriculum. You really use your teacher's guide more so for like an answer key. Or if you do need to refer to it for specific, topics, you can look in your teacher's guide. But the actual units with the science, I just pulled a random one. This is the science. This is 4th grade. And this is unit 8. So this is towards the end. So I'm just going to turn to a random one, right? So like the sun and the planets, they read through their lesson. Your tests are all in here as well, by the way. So LifePac has all of the tests and assessments right within the workbooks. You don't have a separate testing book. Looks like that one's about the constellations. They do have the end of unit test at the back of every book, which again, because it's mastery based, if your kid does not do well on their final unit, it's mastery based. That means they didn't master that topic. Don't move on, right? You would stay on this topic. The cool thing about LifePac though is they do have these things called self-checks. Let me show you one because we do this for our Bible and I love the self-checks. If I can find it. Oh, this one's about the sun being a star, blah, blah, blah. Here, this, self-test. So by the time your kid gets to the end of a LifePac workbook, if they don't do well on their final test, you would have already caught the problem here with this self-test. It's almost like a mid-unit review to make sure they're mastering what they're supposed to master. If you get to this self-test and they're not doing well, it gives you a chance to kind of back up and fill in whatever gaps are left behind. You know what I mean? This is cool, phases of the moon. So this being mastery based, it looks like this whole workbook, this whole unit is just on the solar system and universe. And then when you're done with unit 8, you would go into your next one. Oh, here's unit 1 actually, I'll just show you this one. Unit 1 is specifically about plants. So you could honestly use this as like a unit study. right? So when you're in your plant workbook, everything you're doing is surrounding, you know, plants and botany and that kind of thing. When you get to your solar system workbook, you could use that as its own unit. That's cute. This is my first time getting to flip through this, actually, the science. This is what you guys know, that I have struggled with science curriculums pretty much since the beginning of our journey. And this is one I'm so glad they were willing to send this to me, because I can actually check it out and see. This is one we were considering anyways. I don't know about the second grade. If any, like I'm showing you fourth grade here, but you can go on their website and you can see any grade level. Like it's a PDF of this workbook, and you can scroll through and it will give you sample pages right from that grade level. So like, I don't have the second grade to show you, but you could go in and just click on second grade and it'll pop up the PDF for you. Tiffany, we use the Bible and love it, but we too have had science problems. I know, what is the deal with science? Like, we've really struggled with science. But you know, the LifePac Bible that we use, you guys, if you go and watch my videos, I have tons and tons of videos on it, but I'll show you an example here. We actually, no, that's the math, hold on. This Bible. We have been using this third grade level Bible, and when we're sitting and doing the lessons, my other kids, even my younger kids, come and do the lessons with us. So we've kind of turned this into like a family style thing with my younger kids too, with their Bible. The science, as I was just flipping through this, like immediate light bulb was going off about unit studies. I feel like we could easily turn this into a family style unit as well. Oh, and the LifePac, like the materials, because I told you this is the whole, that's everything you need, those boxes. The materials, any extra materials and supplies that you need with LifePac, it's like super basic household items. Same thing with the Horizons Preschool. Like, you don't get these giant boxes of craft supplies and manipulatives, and some people like that. I don't. Less is more for me. It's like household items. Like, go in your drawer and grab a couple spoons and use your spoons to do a whatever activity. Like super basic stuff that you can just grab. Okay, phonics and reading readers set versus the phonics box difference. Okay, I'm gonna show you. So are you talking about the Horizons Kindergarten? Is that what you're talking about, Autism Mama? Let me know. I'll wait for your response before I start blabbing about this. Yes, okay. So when you get a full grade level set with Horizons, it's gonna be more expensive because you literally get everything you need in one box. So this would be your full Horizons phonics and reading kit. Like, you get everything you need. This is your teacher's guides, your student workbooks, and these mini readers. Okay, see these mini readers? Everything is in one box. This is your whole year of kindergarten phonics and reading. If you don't need the full box, like let's say you've already done this program and maybe you lost one of the books or something, you can just buy things separately. So the different prices that you might be seeing, the kit, this whole kit is your full kindergarten year. However, you can go in and get things individually, if that makes sense. If the younger ones are participating now, what do you do when they get to that grade? I've actually been thinking about that, Tiana. Like, my kids are going to remember that we already learned this. I don't know, to be honest with you. I might just keep it a family style thing and just keep them going with, you know, whatever level my oldest daughter is on. Same thing with the health. The health curriculum is so intriguing to my kids that we've kind of turned that into a family style thing as well. And so I keep buying the next grade level, even though we're kind of all doing it together as a family. But I have thought about that. Like, I wonder if they're going to remember that they did this like 3 years ago. Rebecca, from what I understand, like their Bible curriculum, this Bible curriculum, it's from a Protestant standpoint. And I think I did look into it once that it was following the King James, but don't quote me on that. But I did, like we're Protestant and everything aligns with everything that we believe and understand, right? And it's this Bible curriculum too, it's like super vivid. Like, actual photographs and stuff are used in here. It's not like cartoony, if you know what I mean. Like it's mature, which I think is why my oldest daughter loves it, but my younger kids love this too. And so typically what we do with the Bible is like we'll pull out our actual Bibles when we're doing these lessons and, you know, do our little readings with whatever the scripture is in here, and then just use the activities as family style tape. But look at these lessons. This is what I mean. Like this is a lot of information, lots of vocabulary. They've really put a lot of effort into this. Thank you, Chelsea. It is King James. Yep. Now, my kids' Bibles are not King James. They have the NIV. So that's why we'll pull our Bibles right next to this and we'll compare the scriptures and the different translations and stuff. And that's fun too. Any Bible curriculum for kindergarten? I want to say this LifePac starts at the first grade level, which is when we started it. Now, the Kindergarten Horizon. So what I was showing you, the box of Kindergarten Horizons, this is still a faith-based curriculum. So all the stories and stuff that your kids are reading in this kindergarten program are going to be biblically aligned. It's not a full Bible curriculum. The preschool, this is so sweet. The Preschool for Threes program with Horizons, it comes with this, it's in the house because my kid will not let it go. It's a little Bible kids storybook reader that goes along with this program. So every day with the Preschool for Threes and the Preschool for Fours, even the next level, there's Bible lessons infused with both of these. So even though it's preschool level, it's still on that lower, you could use it for kindergarten, but there's a lot of Bible lessons within these as well. Yes, Janae. So Horizons, LifePac, and Monarch, 3 completely different programs, but they're under the same publishing company. So AOP, this is like, I don't work for them. Like this, they're just sponsoring this live so I can answer questions. But I feel like somebody needs to do some kind of like name change or something because nobody seems to understand. It's so confusing. AOP is just the publishing company. The curriculum that falls under AOP that they publish is your Horizons, your LifePac unit workbooks, and then your online Monarch program, which I am going to show. I'll turn the camera around and we'll still do the Monarch walkthrough. I just want to make sure I answer everybody's questions. But it is so hard to explain sometimes. It's like, okay, AOP is just the publishing company. How do you handle the end of year evaluation? Okay, so Robles family, for me, like we don't live in Florida anymore, so we don't have to do the portfolio evaluations anymore. But now that we live in North Carolina, we do end of year testing. And so even though we school year round, typically, like we just did our end of year testing in April. We're not all the way through our homeschool year in April. We school year round. But because we homeschool and they're already kind of ahead just because they're getting that constant one-on-one attention, they're doing just fine with their testing in April. Again, even though we didn't finish the full grade level yet. So that's pretty interesting, right? That we school year round. We're not going to be done with the 3rd grade until like almost October, but yet we tested in April and she's still through the roof. Autism Mama, currently using Christian Light, but it's not too heavy on the phonics. What level are you using? Because the level that we're in is like nothing but phonics. My kid is over it. Is this for younger kids only? So the way that I like to say it is that Horizons is typically for like your younger levels. So your preschool, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. The math and some other subjects do go to those middle school years. But typically when you have older kids getting into that middle school level, that's when I start recommending the LifePac. Hey, Artie, because it's just more like grown up. Now, Horizons is still super cool, like even at the 3rd grade level. It's super developmentally appropriate. You don't have to worry about anything like that. But it is nice kind of having them separated, right? Horizons, colorful, spiral, lots of review. LifePac, still colorful, but it's a little more mature. Even though there is LifePac for the younger years too, the 1st grade level. Would you recommend the LifePac curriculum for high school? I have not ever seen their high school level. Any levels that you're curious about, you can go on their website. They have the insides of all of this curriculum that you can just scroll through. It's like a PDF that you just scroll through. One thing that I do love about LifePac though, in regards to any of those higher levels, is that it's really independent. Like you don't have to sit there and hold your kid's hand through these LifePac lessons. It's all kind of done for you in these unit workbooks. So if I'm thinking of higher level homeschooling, yes, this would be one, or the Monarch, their online program, is a good one to look into as well, especially because they made their parent dashboard a lot more easy to navigate. Ariel, I feel like you would also love Logic of English. Okay, so and again, I don't know like what I'm allowed to say. This is sponsored, but I'm gonna talk about that other curriculum. Logic of English, I've never tried. The one thing that I don't like about it from what I've seen and what I prefer with Horizons and LifePac is so many moving parts. Like the letter tiles and the this and the that, and you gotta get this out, and it's like, that's one thing that I liked about Horizons is that you need your student workbook. There's a little letter chart that they give you. There's a little whiteboard with a marker, and that's pretty much it. And it's like, just teach the lesson. You don't need all these crazy moving parts. That's the only downside. That I haven't tried that other curriculum, but I think that when I looked into it, I was like, ooh, too much going on. What should I expect from our first portfolio? Oh, the portfolio, are you using me, or do you have an evaluator? I'm an evaluator if you need me for Florida. I still, even though we don't live in Florida anymore, I still do the evaluations. But if you are doing evaluations, like if you're in a state that requires end of year evaluations, any of these curriculums, the Horizons, the LifePac, your online Monarch, all of these include like checkpoints and assessments, and you're not left wondering like, how's my kid doing? I'm not sure how they're doing. Like, especially with the LifePac, you have those self-tests, you have your end of unit tests, so much information to see where your child is at. You're not really left in the dark, and you can use that all for your evaluation proof of learning or your evidence, depending on what your state requires. Yes, just email me. Yep, if you email me, I'm booking out like 2 months in advance. Like right now we're in April and I'm booking people for July for evaluations. But if you are somebody who knows that you need an evaluation, just start taking pictures of your child's work now, scanning things in. Like you just need some evidence of learning to prove that your kid's making progress. And that's pretty much it. What grade do the evaluations start? So in Florida, age 6 is the rule for homeschooling. Now, if you're on a scholarship program or something like that, that's different. Which, by the way, I totally forgot to mention, the scholarship, so any states that have like those scholarship funds or the ESA or any of that, all this curriculum, your Horizons, your LifePac, the online Monarch, this is a real reputable, AOP has been around forever. All states that I have looked into at least have recognized it with their funding, their state funding. I don't know if it's direct provider, like if you can just use your funding directly or if it's just a reimbursement, but everyone that I know that's on the homeschool scholarship program in Florida that uses Horizons or LifePac or Monarch got reimbursed no problem. Yeah, because I know with the different requirements for the different states, you just have to be careful. Like you have to know your laws, know what you have to do at the end of the year. If you're on a scholarship program for your state, like know what your requirements are. You just kind of have to be on top of that. I try to make videos as much as I can for stuff like that, but it's like every state is so different. We are switching from the good and the beautiful, and she loves to write. Oh my gosh, I love hearing that. Typically it's like, oh, my kid hates writing, so I love hearing that. Okay. I was saying earlier that the program that you see, I try to separate it. Like my Horizon stuff is over there. Their phonics program does not go past 3rd grade. So typically, if you are looking for like that higher level, that would be your LifePac. And the language arts LifePac, let's look into the language arts actually. This is 4th grade language arts. Did you say 4th grade? Well, even if you didn't, again, you guys can look up any of these samples on their website, even if I don't have it right here, but this is the language arts. Language arts is my favorite too. So 4th grade language arts, I'm just gonna pull a random. So this is Unit 6 language arts. And remember, LifePac is gonna include all the language arts skills within one program. You don't have a separate spelling or a separate writing. I'll just show you the inside of that. This is the 4th grade language arts. This looks so grown up. Spelling is all included in here. I'm trying to look at the writing for you. There's your spelling, all included. Oh, cursive. So they do have the cursive in here. Look at that. The cursive writing in there as well with the language arts. Oh, here we go. Here's the writing. Yeah, so the writing is included. Oh, poetry writing. I cannot wait to sit down and like really, really go through this. All the different spelling again. There's more cursive. Again, this is just the Unit 6 workbook that I pulled out. But this is super cute. Oh, look at that. Book reports. Writing their book reports. That's cute. So anyways, you were asking me specifically, thanks Autism Mama, about the writing, like if your kid loves to write. I will be honest with you, like my kid's in 3rd grade and we have not found or really dove into anything that's like super heavy on the writing. Even our language arts curriculum that we're using, it's like we aren't doing much writing yet. I don't know if that's gonna like pick up speed or what. I'm just gonna show you too while I'm holding this. This language arts, they focus on poetry in this Unit 6, but I'm gonna let me pull out another unit because again, this is mastery based, so you're just gonna focus on the same topic with each workbook. Let's see, oh look, oh, short stories. So it looks like this whole unit workbook is, yep, all the different short stories, haiku poetry. I know it's backwards, I'm sorry, I gotta flip the camera around. This is really impressive. I am gonna end up doing, once I dive into every single one of these subjects with LifePac, I am gonna do like a full review, like YouTube or something where I can actually go in and like tell you about each of these units because this is really impressive for language arts, especially for an all-in-one. Yeah, see Kate, the 2nd grade writing that you're asking about it doesn't have much writing at all. But I've been told that it's gonna pick up speed, so we'll see. Ariel says, my traditional style loves a mastery program. Me too, like my brain, mastery to me makes sense. Like why bounce around to a million different topics when you can just stay on the one topic, master it, and then move on. I'm the same way. That's LifePac to me is appealing. I know like when we went private school shopping and all the private schools seem to be using the Horizons program, we were in the younger grades. We were shopping for kindergarten private schools. I'm curious if like a lot of older levels or even middle school go with LifePac because it's a pretty robust. Do you think online or books is better? Okay, Little Hogan's, I just recorded a video on this like 2 days ago. I haven't posted it yet though. So if you're trying to figure out like what is better, a workbook style curriculum, like where your kid actually does the work in a workbook, or online style, like the one I was showing you with AOP is Monarch. I'm gonna flip it around and show you too, okay? This is gonna totally depend on your kid, right? If you think that your kid can wake up every day, log in, click on their lesson, do their lesson, answer the questions, and all you have to do is kind of just like check in every once in a while. Independent learners, if you've got an independent learner, this online program, Monarch, 100%. But if you've got younger kids or kids that like you can't really trust to log in and get all their work done each day, or maybe they need a little bit of extra support, that to me is where a workbook style curriculum would be better. LifePac is a workbook style, but it still gives them a lot of independence. Horizons is very much teacher-led. Like when you're doing Horizons, you are going to be with your child. There are things you are going to need to be showing and teaching and doing. LifePac is more independent. Everything is within their workbook, the directions, everything they need to learn, and you just kind of check in every once in a while with this. Totally depends on your kid's style. One cool thing about being able to see all the free samples and stuff, like the online Monarch I was just showing you, you could do a free trial. That's how we first started with it, was with a free trial. Like try it for real with your kid. And if they're enjoying the independence of doing an online program and maybe your schedule needs something like that where you can just put them on the computer, that is awesome. But maybe you do the free trial and you're like, ooh, like my kid cannot handle something online. We need workbook style. Then LifePac or Horizons, depending on their age. But I just love this box that everything is in. Like, look how pretty they look up there. It's like curriculum, homeschool mom problems, being obsessed with the sensory parts of homeschool curriculum. No, we do not have to keep a reading log in our state. If you are in a homeschool state where you have to keep logs and stuff like that, Canva is a good resource where you can find all kinds of like, you just like go in every day and type in what you read with your kid or whatever. Can you return curriculum if you decide when you get it you do not like it? I don't know, to be honest with you. Obviously, if you used it, no, you cannot. Now, if you like, when you buy like the LifePac, for example, when you first open up your LifePac box, all the little workbooks that are inside, these are saran wrapped. Same thing with the health curriculum, with everything is saran wrapped. Maybe if everything is still packaged, some companies would accept that. Most people will resell their curriculum on like Facebook Marketplace, eBay, those kind of things. So that's a good question. Because they offer free samples and stuff on their website and the free trial of Monarch, like I feel like maybe not, you know, it's like, oh, you should have known when you looked at the free samples, but I don't think so. I don't want to say for sure, but I don't think so. I'm going to do this little verification thing. Hold on one second. Okay. What grade does LifePac start at? I think LifePac, they have a kindergarten level, but the individual subjects like this, I want to say first grade. I'm going to just go to the website because I don't want to tell you guys wrong. Let me go AOP.com. I'm just going to log in and let you guys know. And this is cool too. When you go, I'll turn this, you know what? I'm going to turn the camera around. Let me show you guys this because I keep telling you all about the free samples and stuff, but I'm like not actually telling you how to find them. So let me flip this. And you guys actually, when I flip this camera, you're going to see what I meant about the homeschool house. See, it's like the walls are done, but we got to get the trim and everything. Okay. Anyways, so when you are on the website, and I'll show you guys Monarch while I've got the camera turned around like this. See the company AOP? This is what I mean. AOP is just the publishing company. When you click on the little shop, this is where you're gonna see your options, okay? So Monarch is the online, 3 to 12. Oh, LifePac, it does say K to 12. Horizons, pre-K to 12, but be careful because it actually depends on the subject. Ignite Academy, this is interesting too. Now, this isn't one that we're really talking about today, but this is actually an accredited online program where you can like get your diploma at the end and stuff. So that's another thing you can always look into. Okay, so if I'm interested in LifePac, it's gonna show you, this is what I meant earlier with these grade level sets. Oh yeah, see kindergarten for LifePac, you're just getting your math and language arts. First grade is where you get all the subjects. And this is what we were saying earlier with first grade pricing. But it's 20% off with that code. And that 20% off, I think, is only going till April 14th. So that 20% off is not forever. Okay, so then you can see LifePac goes all the way to grade 12, right? So there's your high school level. Somebody was asking about LifePac for high school. There it is, grade 12 LifePac. And then core. If you just wanted individual subjects, like maybe you just want to look into LifePac science, you don't want all the other subjects, you can do that. You can just buy the grade level. But it's obviously, you save money if you buy the whole kit. Then when you look at Horizons, this is important too, I want to show you guys. So you fall in love with Horizons, especially their phonics and reading, and then you get to the 4th grade and you're like, oh my gosh, where did it go? So this is what I mean. Their health curriculum, which is amazing, goes to kindergarten to 8th grade. So we will be using this curriculum all the way through 8th grade. Like I'm obsessed with it. Then, let me show you single subjects. We'll do this. And you can get with Horizons complete grade levels too. So there's their language arts Horizons, there's their math, health and PE, and then that preschool level. The math goes to, what grade level is the highest? Let's see. Looks like 8th. Oh, they do go to algebra. Look at that. Horizons algebra. Interesting. That's so cool. I didn't realize that. Okay, now I want to show you guys the free samples. So whatever curriculum you're interested in, when you click on it, right here, samples, okay? Then you're gonna choose whatever one you wanna see samples of. So there's like, you know, the range of grade levels there. If you like sign up for these rewards, you can actually get like points towards new curriculum. It's just really interesting how they have it set up. The AOP is a really cool company like that. They kind of appreciate their customers. They give you points and discounts and stuff like that. So anyways, there's your options. your Monarch, LifePac Horizons. If you're not sure, there's a full overview. This Find Your Fit thing is interesting. Like you can listen, there's little testimonies and stuff. There's your free trial with Monarch to kind of figure out like, what is the best direction to take, right? Full school year in a box, that's your LifePac. There's your Horizons. Again, just be weary of like, if you want 4th grade phonics and reading, you're not gonna find it. But look at that pre-algebra, that's so awesome. I didn't know they had that. So anyways, that is the website. That's where you find all the free samples. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys the Monarch and then I will switch back and forth and I'll kind of, I'll go through and answer all the questions. So let me just preface, all these courses that you see here on Monarch, I purposely went in and assigned all of these to my kid just to play around with the subject. So no, my 3rd grader is not taking Algebra 1. I just added it because I wanted to test it out. But notice with Monarch, if you do get the full access plan, it is, look at all these courses. You can add as many courses as you want. And another thing that's cool about this is maybe your kid needs to do 3rd grade math, but they need, I don't know, 2nd grade reading. You can mix and match with the Monarch. So anyways, this is from the student standpoint. So let's say she goes into her American history and then everything is broken down by units. It also has this little completion bar, right? So she knows exactly how much of a program or how much of a lesson she has left. It will tell her if she's behind schedule, right? So again, I just assigned this for fun, but if this was for real, she would see, oh goodness, I need to go in and get that done. She would literally just go here, start the assignment. Okay, now this is an example of a Monarch lesson. Notice that this is completely independent. It will read the vocabulary out loud, which is nice. So if they don't know how to read these words, it will read it out loud to them. But it's essentially like a textbook online, okay? So this is not like, you know, some other companies where they're just sitting watching videos all day. They're literally reading like through a textbook, and then the questions to answer are right on the same page. So this is Monarch. This is obviously a really high level. This is high school level, but all the questions that they need to answer are right here. And as they answer them, it grades them automatically and it gets sent to your grade book. Bada bing, bada boom, easy. Right? Then she can go back in. Here's her little calendar. She can see exactly what she needs to do for the day. If she has a quiz, there's quiz. Even Spanish, right? I assigned a Spanish course just for fun, just to see what it was like. So that's the Monarch. Monarch, one thing that I really love about this is, like I said, they're not just sitting watching videos all day. Now there are videos embedded into it, which I really appreciate. Like, let me see. I think this was the one that I saw it. Let me see if they have the video. Like the math especially, they will embed little videos. It's not on this one, but I appreciate that because even with my kids sitting here and doing it independently, here we go. There are little videos embedded, but it's not a full video lesson, if that makes sense. Right, let me see.
Punctuation to communicate meaning.
Yeah.
Algebra mean in a term that has
Blah, blah,
to
blah.
take note of in this expression, the comma.
So anyways, it's all embedded in there. So that's your Monarch. I'm going to answer. I see all these questions coming up and I am not answering them. So let me get up to this. Yeah, the online, somebody was asking if the online Monarch. Yes, this is the Monarch online. Oh, and by the way, guys, this dashboard that you see, this is their new version. So if you log into Monarch and it looks different like the old version, let me just show you. It's called Monarch Classic. This is what it used to look like. So this is what I mean when I say it kind of got an upgrade. Like this would be the calendar and you'd get all lost and not really sure where you go. But the new one is much, much easier with the Monarch. All right, I'm gonna flip it back around and then I'll answer all the questions. So hopefully that gave you a little like preview of the Monarch and then also how to find those free samples and stuff. Yes, so Rachel, when the free samples that they have, they're all PDFs on their website. You can print them out if you want or just scroll through and see the PDFs, but it's not like where they send you a physical free sample copy. It's not like that. It's just the free samples on their website in PDF version. And the placement tests too. So, oh, that's one thing I gotta say. If you have, let's say you're pulling your kid out of school and they're in 4th grade, and you're going to pull them out in the 4th grade, and you're going to start homeschooling tomorrow. And so you go on and you buy a bunch of 4th grade Horizons math curriculum or a 4th grade LifePac up there. Be careful about that, because just because your kid was in the 4th grade in the public school system does not mean that they're going to be 4th grade level LifePac. They typically homeschoolers are a little bit more ahead. The curriculum itself is a little bit more ahead because your kid's getting one-on-one attention. They're not in a classroom full of 25 kids. So you should definitely go on and take advantage of the placement test, like especially language arts and math. Please, please, please do not just assume that your kid's going to be in the 4th grade for language arts. You're going to get on, do the placement, language arts and math. Please, please, please do not just assume that your kid's going to be in the 4th grade for language arts. You're going to get on, do the placement test. Don't freak out about that. If LifePac, for example, you can buy 2nd grade language arts and 5th grade math if you need to. You can mix and match, and don't feel like your kid's going to be behind. It's always better to fill in the gaps and not just rush them ahead because of their age. Please, please, please. Like, if I could ever like drill something into somebody's head, it's that. Like, don't let their age determine their grade level. Do you buy the whole curriculum for a grade level or buy the different grades for subjects? So Caitlin, again, it's flexible. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. It is really convenient to just go on and be like, I want 4th grade everything. And they will literally just send you this. Like, you get every single subject for the entire 4th grade. However, if you think, oh, I think they need like a spiral math curriculum, meaning like they review a lot, maybe I need Horizons math, but LifePac language arts. You can mix and match that way. It totally depends on your kid. There are many families that are just perfectly fine buying the entire grade level set and doing it that way. Some families want to mix and match. It really just depends. It's so hard to say, like everybody's situation is a little bit different. Financially though, purchasing individual, like I want Horizons math, but I want LifePac language arts, that's going to get a little bit more expensive than if you just buy a full grade level set. They kind of give a discount when it's a full grade level set like that. That's any curriculum company too. It's like a all-in-one deal. What do you recommend for a child that has been diagnosed dyslexic from public school? So my first question is like, was that like an official diagnosis, or was it like, oh, like maybe they could be? And whether they are or not, I always recommend going lower than you think. So like, let's say again, your kid's in 2nd grade, you pull out to homeschool, placement tests are going to help you the most, but maybe you go down to 1st grade phonics with Horizons or something like that. Like, not speeding them along, especially if there is that diagnosis of dyslexia. And if you do have a dyslexic kiddo, keep in mind that the Orton-Gillingham method of learning is like the gold standard for kids with dyslexia. So if you just Google Orton-Gillingham, hopefully your school and your kids' teachers have already told you that, but if not, just keep that in mind. Orton-Gillingham method is like the gold standard for dyslexia. And going back a grade level if you need to. And that would be a case where like a lot of my dyslexic kiddos when I was a teacher were highly, highly, highly advanced and ahead in math, but it was the language arts and the phonics that they struggle with, obviously, considering the situation. But that would be a situation where you might not want to just buy a whole grade level set. Maybe you need to mix and match. Like, we need a lower level for language arts, but a higher level for math. Oh no, Rachel said, why is LifePac so expensive? We were just looking at it. I don't know if you were here when we were looking at it. So it is 20% off this week though. That is one benefit, which is not, they don't usually do sales like this. But let me I'm going to pull up the LifePac again, because the only grade level that is like way more expensive than the rest is that 1st grade level, like we were talking about earlier, because 1st grade is like that really heavy year. But for I want to like pull it up and actually show the prices while I'm talking about the prices. Hold on one second. Here we go. LifePac grade level set. So like 4th grade, for example, every single subject, every single unit workbook, everything you need for 4th grade would be $468, but then 20% off of that. For a full grade level with every subject, I feel like that's pretty good. But if you're mixing and matching, then yeah, I could see that would like get really expensive. The Monarch, that full access Monarch where you can add as many possible courses as you want, that is like the best deal ever. If your kid can handle an online curriculum, that Monarch full access is a really good deal because you can just keep adding courses and it's self-paced. I forgot to mention that when I was showing you the Horizon or the Monarch online, your kid can go at their own pace. Like if they're flying through a course, like let's say they finish algebra way earlier than you were expecting, you can just go in and assign the next level. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to wait for the year to end or anything like that. So that's another really cool thing. But in terms of pricing for a full grade level with all the subjects, I feel like it's pretty comparable, at least to other ones that I've seen. Somebody was asking about Monarch. Okay, hold on, let me scroll up. Could I use Monarch and paper? Crystal, do you mean like use Monarch for some of the subjects and then use the workbooks for other subjects? Or do you mean like you're using Monarch but they're recording their answers on paper? I want to make sure I understood you correctly. Yes, Rachel, it is self-paced. Oh, and see all these, your questions are reminding me of other questions. The LifePac. So let me show you this LifePac. One weird thing about LifePac, which actually a lot of people love this, but to me I was like, wait a minute, what? When your kid is doing LifePac, it is not organized like day 1, day 2, day 3. It's not like that at all. You start your unit, right? So this is unit 6, lesson 1, finding the facts, okay? And then you just keep going pretty much in the book. And then you get to like the little self-check area. So to me, I was like, oh my gosh, how many pages a day are they doing with this LifePac? It's self-paced. You can literally do, it's mastery. So you, like I said, you can stay on a lesson as long as you need to, or your kid's flying through a lesson, maybe they do 2, 3, 4 pages that day. It is totally self-paced, which threw me off at first. Like when I was looking at it, I was like, wait a minute, how many lessons are we doing each day? It's flexible. Now you are supposed to use it, start at the beginning of the book, finish at the end. You don't want to bounce around with this, especially because it is mastery based, but it's not set up to where you have to do a certain amount of pages each day. I thought that was really cool. Okay, Crystal, you said yes, recording the answers on paper. So with Monarch, the online program, every time they answer a question, it's going to get graded automatically. If they're recording their answers on paper, you could totally do that. The only thing that I would say is that you as the parent then take their recorded answers that they did on a piece of paper and then go in and physically put the answers into the Monarch program so that it will move them on to the next lesson. You know what I mean? If you just read through the lesson but you don't answer the questions, it's going to be marked incomplete. So if they're recording their answers on paper, just you go in, put them into the community, kind of extra work, but it would work, so that it records it, grades it for you, and then you can move on to the next lesson. Should I buy the Horizon PE along the preschool? Okay, let's talk about Horizon's PE, which I know you're probably thinking like PE curriculum. That's what I was thinking too. Like PE is not necessary. That's what I said. And then I got this. This literally is a PE curriculum, physical education, and it's pre-K to 2. So I got this and I was just curious, right? This is so interesting, this PE curriculum. Everything is broken down. So I know it's backwards and I'm so sorry, but it's like the only way I can see. Everything is broken down into like little weekly skills. This is written as if you're an actual PE teacher in a school though. So just don't let that throw you off. They're kind of assuming that you have a class of kids, but like learning how to do jumping jacks, learning how to skip. We set a timer, like the kids will do push-ups and we'll like see if you can beat your time from yesterday. Like really cute stuff. Now, do I use this every single day? Is it part of our daily schedule? No, this is something that I will literally just flip through and be like, oh, that's a cool activity. I'm not really using this fully through as like a normal curriculum, but it's so cool. Like, look at this. Pre-K, sensory motor body control skills. Crawling, walking, running, jumping, hopping, leaping, galloping. Guess what I learned when we started doing this? My 3-year-old didn't know how to gallop. She could skip. She could literally skip, but didn't know how to gallop. And so it's just interesting, like the skills the gross motor skills that are included in this PE curriculum. Like it's all brought back to the Bible as well. God creating us a certain way, creating us to be, be able to do things, being thankful that we have able bodies to be able to do certain things. You can see that. I know it's backwards, but it's like serving God and understanding that your health is important. And your kids do set goals with this PE curriculum too. So like at the beginning of the year, they set a goal like, maybe you could only do 5 push-ups, and then by the end of the year, you can do 20 or whatever it might be. So this is a cute one. This is one that I'm glad I got. It's just something that I pull out every once in a while, and we'll do like a fun little activity. But this is the full curriculum, by the way. This PE curriculum, there's not separate student workbooks, nothing like that. The health curriculum does have the separate workbooks, right? So like the Horizons Health, this is the 4th grade level, but this is the actual workbook that they do their work in. Like they even have like dental lessons, health lessons, dental lessons, the different, muscular systems, just super, super cool. All the different body parts. So, I mean, it gets like really involved too, this health curriculum. This one does have the teacher's guide and everything to go along with it. It's just, I love this program. This health program is so cool. I hate that Texas requires a good citizenship course. Is there anything like that? So Rachel, it would not be specific to like your state. Like I think Texas, it has to be, does it have to be like Florida had this thing where they had to learn like the Florida something, like something about citizen, or does yours, can it be just generic, or does it have to be Texas based? Because that, like the health curriculum, especially at the kindergarten level, let me show you guys this. This is super cute too. I love the health. So this is the kindergarten level. They do have good citizenship stuff in here. Oh, and they also, look how cute that is. This is so embarrassing. Let me tell you guys. So I did this lesson with my kindergartner, and we were looking at it, and again, this is so simple. I thought we were gonna like knock this out and it was gonna be so easy. We got into this huge, deep discussion about like, yes, when you're eating beef, you're literally eating a cow. When you eat chicken, that is a live animal. That like, I just assumed my kids made that connection. No, we talked about cheese and how the cow from the milk from the cow, and it just brought up some really interesting conversations. But back to the good citizenship thing. Yes, this lower level health, the kindergarten health curriculum, does talk about being a good citizen and, supporting your friends and being a good member of society, helping your family, like just very sweet, gentle lessons in the health curriculum. Lindsay, why don't they have the science or the history? I don't know. Horizons is like known for their phonics and their reading and their math. We love the health. And then I think everybody else just uses the LifePac for the history and geography. That blue box that I was showing, or that's the science. The teal box is the history and geography one. But yeah, I don't know. Especially because so many private schools use Horizons. So you would think it would be just like in all the subjects. I don't know. Is Monarch LifePac, but online. So it's so confusing. AOP is the umbrella publishing company that owns all of these curriculums. Monarch is the online version, and then LifePac is the bookwork version. In terms of like, is the content exactly the same? I don't think so. I feel like Monarch, let's look it up. But I think Monarch is like its own thing. That would be so interesting though, if it was the same. Because now that you asked, I'm like, oh, maybe it is. I'm just gonna pull out like the science. Like this is Unit 2 Science. I'm looking on the back of the box. The back of the box, by the way, for LifePac, like this is Science LifePac. It will show you every single grade level and what they're gonna be learning in that grade level. So like if you pick this up and you read the 2nd grade level and you're like, oh, I think my kid already knows all that. Then you can read the 3rd grade level and see exactly where it will progress to. I always thought that was super cool. Okay, so I just randomly pulled out this unit. This is so interesting. I really like this science. So this one is how animals are structured. It's gonna be from a creationist point of view, by the way. So again, it's a faith-based curriculum. If you want secular, this would probably not be the best. This one is all about animals. I was gonna look up the Monarch though. Janice said, someone said it's the same. Rachel, I love that the boxes do that. Me too. They make it so easy. You just take it off the shelf and you can look at it. I wonder if, you know what? I would have to assign her the 4th grade science for me to go in and see that, if it's exactly the same. I don't know. I'm gonna find that out. I'm gonna let you know. That would be so interesting if the content in LifePac was exactly the same as the Monarch. I don't know. But yeah, the back of the box that I was saying, it's all the subjects. Like even the Bible shows you what they're learning in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, shows you the progression. It's so helpful, so helpful. And if you have like multiple kids, like me, like I'm homeschooling a lot of kids. If I was using LifePac for all my kids, like these little, everything in the box like that, I was thinking about this today when I was setting this up. I would probably have like my 1st grader stuff on top, my 2nd grader stuff on the bottom, because everything's already organized into the boxes, compared to when you have like a million, you have an answer key, a teacher's guide, several textbooks. Like it just gets too confusing. With LifePac, everything's kind of all in one. Google said the only difference is online and not. So maybe they are the same. That is so interesting. Well, whoever was asking about like if you could use Monarch online, but have them record all the answers like on paper. If that is true about LifePac being the exact same content, then you could just use LifePac. Oh yay, little readers with Lynn's last 3 weeks. I know researching curriculum is so overwhelming. I completely understand. LifePac versus Horizons for kindergarten. Kay Temple said LifePac versus Horizons for kindergarten. So the Horizons program, this one that you see back here, which by the way, the Horizons math, I love the Horizons kindergarten math, by the way. This is a spiral-based program. So Horizons, any grade level, doesn't matter what grade level, it's gonna be spiral-based. And what that means is your kid learns a little something new that day, but then the whole rest of the lesson, they're gonna spend reviewing old stuff. And then the next day, they're gonna learn a little something else new, and then they're gonna go back and review old stuff. And so it's called spiral because you're constantly spiraling back to old topics. LifePac, whether it's the kindergarten level or higher, it doesn't matter. This LifePac, which I'll show you the math to compare, is not spiral-based. LifePac is a mastery-based curriculum, meaning you're not gonna keep spiraling back to old topics every single day. You do get a little review with this, but in each one of your unit workbooks, you're just sticking with 1 or 2 topics, and you're mastering those topics before you move on. Horizons, spiral, lots of review, going back and constantly reviewing. LifePac, mastery, stay on the same topic for a long time until you master it, okay? And like, in terms of which one is better, it really just, it's trial and error. Like I have learned with my own kids, one kid is better with spiral, one kid is better with mastery. And I had to learn that just through trial and error, unfortunately. But they do have the free samples. So if you're thinking like, maybe I'm leaning more towards the spiral, go look at the free samples and you can see the insides of everything and you can kind of see how it progresses and how much review is included. The Horizons math, I want to show you guys this actually. We actually did do a little bit of this math. You'll see here. This is the kindergarten level math, okay? And you can see the first skill that you do together is the new skill that you learned that day. So in this lesson, we were focusing on the number 4, being able to identify it quickly. And then this whole rest of the lesson is just that page and that page. And that was the whole lesson. A little bit of new skill in the beginning, then we reviewed the rest of the time. With the math, you can see it says book 1. So Horizons Kindergarten book 1. It does have a book 2, which would be the second half of the year. So first half of the year for math, second half of the year for math, and that's the Horizons Kindergarten. And it's spiral all the way through. But look how, that's the end of the kindergarten, Horizons Kindergarten. Look at that, like how much they went from that first lesson of just having to identify the number 4 to 3D shapes and subtraction from a double-digit number. Like it's so cute to see like how far they come in a year. We're going to use Horizons for our son. Yeah, Felicia, Horizons, that's the one that I was saying earlier so many private schools use because it's been around forever. Horizons, it's very well known. It's been around forever. It's like reputable. You know, it's not like just this random new one that just came out. Like it works. Story problems too, that was the other thing. I really, really like they include a lot of story problems with their curriculum. Some math curriculum don't include a lot of story problems, which I feel like is like hard for them to use the math in real life when they're not having story problems. So I like that they have that too. But it's colorful too. See how colorful the math is? And it just gets right down to business. It's not like, I don't think I can say. I'm not going to say the name of the other curriculum, but you guys know what I'm talking about, where it's like so much extra cutesy things that aren't really necessary to teach the lesson. This just gets right to the point. Why does Horizons seem more advanced? When we first were looking into the Horizons, I felt the same way. I was like, I feel like this is like really high level for kindergarten. Well, when you look, then I'm glad I did this though. And I recommend anybody does this too. In the front of your teacher's guide with Horizons, I want to show you. This is like, I have this in some of my other videos because when I was looking, I was like, ooh, I love that they do that. Hold on, let me get to it. This is your teacher's guide. There's a daily lesson planner too in the teacher's guide with Horizons. So if you want it broken down into days, you can do that. Hold on, there's a graph of the spiral method. Here it is. Look at this. Okay, I actually want to flip the camera around for this. I'm going to show you something in this Horizons teacher's guide because if you just flip through the student workbook, you're going to be like, that looks way too advanced for kindergarten. Okay, well look at this. Hold on, I got to flip the camera again. Okay, maybe. Yes? No? All right. So this is the teacher's guide for kindergarten math Horizons. This is what I mean by spiral method. Okay, and I know it looks crazy. Let me just explain. So here are all your topics going down. This is every topic your kid's going to do in math and with Horizons kindergarten. They start with just simple addition, word numbers, calendar, word problems, time to the hour, addition, money. They just focus on the penny. Then they do the dime. Then they tell time. Okay, so these are all the skills. Lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4, that skill will get introduced. So my kid is going to learn how to tell time to the hour on this day. It looks like lesson 14. Then they're going to review it a little bit. Then we're not going to see it again for a while, and then it's going to come up again and again and again and again until they master it. So the reason why I'm showing you this is because if you're just flipping through the student workbook, like I did, I flipped through this and I was like, oh my gosh, this is too advanced for kindergarten. It's actually, because it's so spiral, when you see these and you're like, oh my gosh, that's way too advanced for kindergarten. Remember, it's just introducing a skill. It's just introducing it, but then they're gonna add a little bit more, add a little bit more. So I think my theory, and I'm sure that this is probably their thought too, is that hit them with these skills that they're gonna eventually need to master, not necessarily in kindergarten, but eventually just give them a little taste of it. But then we're gonna see that skill come up again and again and again and again and again. And that made me feel a lot better. I was like, oh, there's a method to the madness when you look in the workbook and you're like, oh my gosh, this looks like way too much. I promise it's like very developmentally appropriate. Like, look at that. I just love it. All right. Anyways, hopefully that kind of makes more sense when you see it that way. And that's in the front of the teacher's guide for Horizons Math. All right, let me look at these questions because I know we're getting a lot of questions that I haven't been able to answer yet. Was already planning on switching. Horizons looks good. It is. Horizons a sweet one. That's one that I recommend, especially like either of these, Horizons or LifePac if you don't want online. Like if you're just starting out homeschooling, it's kind of nice because like you just have everything all in one, right? Whether it's like the kindergarten box set or the LifePac, it's all just there for you. Yeah, I totally agree with you. We've been using Horizons since September and IXL has her at a 140. Yep, you can look, if you're using IXL or any testing program, no matter what curriculum you're using, if you test your kid every once in a while, I think you'll surprise yourself. Be like, I didn't think I was doing that well, but then my kid did their test and they scored through the roof. That's me every year. I feel like we're not doing enough. And then they do their test and I'm like, oh, they are learning. Horizons math versus Christian Light math for pre-K. So Horizons pre-K is the only pre-K that we've used. The Christian Light pre-K is not like a true preschool curriculum. It's like cute little workbooks that you can have your kid work through. But the Horizons pre-K, this is like a legit curriculum for preschool that you can use as like a full all-in-one curriculum, or you can kind of just supplement with certain activities. This is the level preschool for 4. So when your kid is 4 years old, very basic, like little handwriting practice, you know, counting the fish, adding them up. Super sweet program. And then this is what leads into the kindergarten. So this is the pre-K curriculum we use. Here's more like, you know, shapes, that kind of thing. This does include little crafts and separate resource packet that you can use. It even has a, I think I have it here. Look, the CD. It's like the little songs that go along with it. The preschool curriculum. I thought that was cute. So we love that, the preschool. There's the level, I keep saying level 3, but it's preschool for 3s, meaning 3 years old curriculum that I had back here too. It got buried. Here it is. The preschool for 3s. We're pretty much done with this program already. This level, the for 3s one. And this is another one that has everything included, like the little crafts and the, you know, colors and shapes, and they do use actual photographs for a lot of their lessons too, which I love, especially at the preschool level. It's not all like cartoons. Like look at this one. Like even the people. It's all actual photographs of people, not just like cartoon AI stuff. Okay, so how long does it take to get through the pre-K for 3? To be honest with you, and this is, I don't know like what AOP thinks about this, but the way that we do it is when they're 3, like I am not gonna have my 3-year-old sit down every day to like do school at a certain time. Like I feel like at that age, they still need to be playing and exploring. And so I really let her take the lead on this. When I'm at the table working with her older siblings, most of the time she's like, can I do my big girl school? Can I do my workbook? And then, you know, we'll do a lesson, maybe a page, maybe 2 pages. It totally depends on what she wants to do. There are some days where she does not want to do this at all and she's playing Barbies and she's completely content. I just let her do that. When they turn 4, that is when I really am like, okay, we're going to sit down and we're going to do 20 minutes of school. Set the timer 20 minutes. At this level though, I let her take the lead. So we've started this back in what, July, August? I think it was when we, like right before we moved here. So what are we in now? April, and we're almost done with it. So there are, like I said, there are some days where we are flying through and doing multiple lessons with the preschool. Some days she doesn't feel like doing it at all. Okay, and that to me at this level, that's okay. And also I'll show you, hold on, this is really cute too. In this little activity workbook, these are little like matching games and stuff that you can cut out where they're like counting and matching, and it's all included right here in this workbook. I've been making photocopies of stuff because I wanted to save it for my next kid instead of having her write directly in the book. That is a little homeschool hack, by the way. You can photocopy games and things to reuse them instead of having to buy a whole nother curriculum workbook. Okay, Lindsay, trying to decide between Christian Light and Horizons for 1st grade. They are so different, completely different programs. The Horizon, which, I am almost certain I have a video either on YouTube or TikTok. If you just search Jess Heavenly Homeschool, Horizons versus Christian Light, I am almost certain I have a video out there because they are so different and they work amazing for different kids. Horizons, your lessons with Horizons are gonna be like right to the point. Like you're gonna learn your new skill, you're gonna do a little bit of practice, and then you're gonna review a couple things, and then you're done. The next day, it's the same thing. The teacher's guide with Horizons, very, very basic. It's just gonna give you like a couple little teaching points. It's gonna give you the answer key, what you need, and that's it. Christian Light is really intensive, especially at first grade. First grade is like, ugh. But again, it depends on what your kid needs. If your kid thrives more with like, just get to the point, I don't want to do, you know, a million pages a day. Color, this is still colorful. It's not overwhelming. It's, you know, it's engaging enough. This would be a good choice. If your kid needs something where it's like, yeah, we're going to do 15 problems before we move on to something, then Christian Light would be better. It's just, it's a lot longer lessons. And it depends on your schedule too, right? Hey, Amber. So if you are somebody who just wants to get down to business, get the lesson done, move on with your day, compared to if you need something a little more like the teacher's guide with Christian Light is gonna, I mean, script word for word, what to say, how to do things. This, you have a little bit more flexibility and freedom. Horizons, it just gives you the teaching points and you move on. And it's like, totally depends on your kid's learning style too. And you might not know that until you actually start with them. Like you might start Horizons and be like, I feel like these quick lessons aren't working, or the opposite. Like just depends on what your kid needs. Amber, what would you recommend for a special needs children that struggle? So any kiddo that is struggling, my number one recommendation, which is exactly what I'm doing with my own child. If you watch my videos about our math situation right now, oh my gosh, is to just stop. Like, do not proceed, do not pass go, do not collect $100, $200, whatever. You're gonna like really kick yourself later if you see your child is struggling and you just keep moving on. That is what they do in the school system, and that is why it is failing. Stop where you're at and perhaps even go back. So like, we're just gonna use math, for example. Whatever curriculum you're using, doesn't matter. If your kid is like really struggling with a skill, like my daughter right now, she is not understanding the concept of addition and subtraction, which tells me her number sense is lacking. Like if you don't understand adding is bringing things together and subtracting is removing things, then we need to back up pre-K level, right? So stop where you're at. If you see they're struggling, back up to the point in your curriculum or the point at which you know they were understanding, and then baby steps. Okay, like maybe instead of doing one full lesson today, we're gonna do just one problem and we're gonna just focus on that one problem until I know you understand this skill. That is what we're dealing with right now in our homeschool with my first grader. Just, that is my greatest recommendation. Your kid is struggling, stop where you're at, do not keep going, and just go back to the point at which you know they weren't struggling and try to fill in those gaps. Wait. I saw something about the teacher's guide. Yesenia, I struggle with the teacher's guide not being very scripted. Yes, so Yesenia, that's what I mean. Like it is totally your style. Some parents prefer to have a teacher's guide like this. Let me just show you. This is the math teacher's guide for Horizons. You open it up. Here's what we're doing today. Here's some little like teaching tips, things that you can add in. Here is the worksheet. Here's your answer key. Go have fun. Some people love that. You can be flexible with it. You can use whatever manipulatives you want. You can take this on the go. It's open and go. You don't need a bunch of materials. Some parents, like what you're saying, feel like, oh, I need more. Like, give me more. So totally depends on your style. Allison, I used that curriculum for our whole first year of homeschooling. I have lots and lots and lots of videos that talk about our experience. It was not a good experience for us. It does work for a lot of families. It just was not a good fit for us. I hate any and all teachers' guides. You guys just gotta write your own. I don't think I have found one that is 100% meets my needs as well. There's either teachers' guides that are lacking or teachers' guides that are too overwhelming or too confusing. Yeah, I totally get what you mean. Stacy, is Horizons good for a 7-year-old who loves mental math? So 7, assuming that you're like first grade level. I was just saying earlier, I don't know if you were here, the math or any of the programs, Horizons or LifePac, AOP has placement tests on their website that you can look at to see like, do I put them in the first grade, second grade, like what level are they at? In terms of the mental math, any of these programs, they're gonna give you like the option. Like even with the, I was looking at this earlier. This is the LifePac math, okay? And Horizons is the same way. They'll give you skills like, okay, your kid's learning triple digit addition here, right? There's the triple digit addition. You want to use mental math for that, for those problems, or for the kindergarten, math, you can totally do that. You're not forced to use manipulatives, and like, this is not Common Core. You don't have to use specific strategies to hit these math skills. Again, totally flexible. You can, if mental math, not mental math, you want to add manipulatives, not add manipulatives, totally up to you. Aaron, so Monarch, Monarch and Mia Academy are very, very different. Just because they're both online curriculum, they're not treated equally. Monarch is not video based. They do have videos embedded into their lessons, but when your kid logs into a Monarch lesson, it's going to be almost like they're reading a textbook, or in the lower levels, it'll read it to them. Again, it totally depends on your style. I did not like with Mia Academy and some of the other online programs, they're just staring at a video and then answering questions. That I don't like. With Monarch, it's interesting because it's text that they're reading, or that's being read to them. And so if your kid is answering a question, they can actually scroll back up and find the answer. It's not like Mia Academy where, oh, now I got to go back and fast forward the video or rewind the video and find the answer. It's text-based with Monarch. Again, depends on your style. Some kids need the video, some kids don't. I like that it's text-based with Monarch instead of them just staring at a video all day. But again, totally depends on your style. Yes, so Rose is racing the LifePac language arts is what's considered an all-encompassing language art. So this is going to include your reading, your writing, your spelling, your phonics, your grammar. Everything is included into one, and this is just one unit workbook of 10. So this is not it for language arts, right? This is mastery based, which means when your kid starts working in one of these unit workbooks, they're only going to be focusing on a few skills at a time instead of having a million skills thrown at them at once. It's just focusing on those few skills. This language arts curriculum, this is my first time really getting to flip through it since they sent me the 4th grade level, and this is really impressive. Even the little cursive activities and stuff that they include there. Handwriting too. That's another thing with the language arts. It's no separate handwriting. You don't have 500 different workbooks. It's just your one workbook for the unit that you're on, and everything's included. Amy, the only middle school levels that I've dabbled in with any of these is Monarch, and that was just me playing around with it. This 4th grade level, LifePac, is the highest level that I've actually physically gotten my hands on. Amber, the placement test, the placement test, the free samples, free trial of Monarch, all that is on their website. I have on my page, I have their website. It's just their normal website. You just go to aop.com. But if you want to just go to the link, it's on there as well. And actually, as I'm saying these words, I think a long time ago, I might have actually added a link for the placement tests on my website. So you don't have to scroll and find them. I think you can just click on it and go to that. Yes, they're free. Yep. Placement tests are free. Even this is so cute too. You can see I have videos of me doing this with my kids. The preschool. So if you look at my website, and then this is totally free too. This is just a free thing that AOP does for people. It's called Kindergarten Readiness Assessment. It's just 4 little pages that you print out, and you'll see in my video, I sit with my little ones, and we practice our colors and our shapes and our numbers, and everything's on it for you. And it will tell you, is your kid ready for the preschool level? Are they ready for the kindergarten level? Maybe they're not ready for this yet. And it's honest, it'll tell you. And that's free too. You just print it out. And even if you're not using this curriculum, you can just use that assessment for your own knowledge. Where's my kid at? How are they doing? Type thing. Just really, this AOP, like I was saying earlier, is it's a really good, what's the word? They take care of their people. They take care of their customers. All the free samples, the free trials, the placement test, all that is there for you. And there's points that you earn, when you buy this, and then you get points and you can use that towards, and on your birthday, I got an email from AOP on my birthday a couple days ago, a extra points or something just for it being my birthday. Would you recommend Horizons or LifePac for an autistic kindergarten? Oh, he's testing 1st grade. That's awesome. Okay, Horizons, what you see back here, this is going to be a spiral-based program. Okay, now this is the health. Health is a little different. You know, math and phonics is really where the spiral comes in. But Horizons is going to be spiral-based, where you're going back and you're reviewing and reviewing and reviewing and reviewing. A little bit something new every day, go back and review. The LifePac is mastery-based. So that is where you're going to learn a new skill, but you're going to stay doing that skill for a while until it's mastered before moving on to something new. So when you're trying to figure out like what's a better fit for my kid, that's the first thing you got to ask yourself. Like, do they need to have constant review every day because they're going to forget stuff? Or would mastery be better where they're just staying on that one topic? And again, you really don't know until you try and see what's a better fit for your kid. LifePac versus that, yeah, Stacy, that was the main difference is that spiral versus mastery. And the LifePac, when you buy LifePac, this is multiple workbooks. So in this little box, which I love, this is like my favorite part. It's not one big textbook. This is all language arts for 4th grade, right? So they start with Unit 1, they finish this workbook, then they move into Unit 2, then they move into Unit 3, and then the whole year is 10 workbooks. So that's LifePac. Horizons is just 1 or 2, sometimes there's a part 1 and a part 2, textbook for the year. Okay, so that's another big difference. If you like that workbook style where everything's individualized into single unit workbooks, that's LifePac. If you don't want to deal with a bunch of mini workbooks and you'd rather just have everything in one textbook or 2, depending on the subject, Horizons. That's another big difference. Oh, Amber, I know. Where do I even start? I know. That's the hardest part is like, I'm overwhelmed. Where do I even start? I always say your state laws. Like, don't even worry about curriculum until you know, are you in a state where you can choose any curriculum under the sun, or does your state require you to meet specific standards and meet specific subjects? That's number 1. So finding out your state laws, Facebook groups for your local area. Like let's say you're in North Carolina like me. There is a Facebook group, North Carolina Homeschooling Families. Join that Facebook group, post your questions in there. Every state, even counties, like when I was in Florida, Pinellas County Homeschool Moms, there was a Facebook group for that. Like tons of resources out there on Facebook. You can get started with that as well, finding out your state laws. And you know what else I just realized? Horizons, maybe even LifePac. Somebody can answer this for me maybe. The Horizons homeschool curriculum, there is a Facebook group for that. It's like Horizons Homeschool Families. And you can, like, moms are taking pictures of their kids' worksheets at the end of the day and being like, did anybody else's kids struggle with this? And it's like, it's cool. It's like a community specifically for Horizons curriculum. And there might be one for LifePac back there too. I was looking and saw the Horizons one. Yes, Allison, so depending on what the struggle is, yes, Horizons is like gentle, right? Where you as the parent, you're doing a lot of the teaching. The teacher's guide's going to tell you kind of, how to do the lesson. LifePac, if your kid is more independent, even if they're struggling with math, but they're just an independent learner, they'd rather kind of just teach themselves, their workbooks are going to have the lesson laid out step by step for them. So just kind of depends on your kid's style and what you think they can handle. But typically Horizons is the curriculum that I recommend. Like if you feel like your kid needs something a little more gentler, little like it's colorful, it's engaging, it's like cute. Whereas LifePac is a little more mature, even though they do have kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade level with that as well. Like the Bible, we were using the 1st grade LifePac Bible, and my kid loved that even when she was, I think she was 7 when we started that. Brittany, yes, 100%. So Brittany said, is LifePac more independent than Christian Light? Yes. So the teacher's guide with LifePac, I just had one here. Here we go. This is the teacher's guide for LifePac Math for the whole year, okay? And that is because the majority of the teaching and the lessons that your child's going to be doing are actually in their student workbooks. So instead of you having to look in your teacher's guide and figure out how to teach the lesson, it's already explained to the kids at their level in their workbooks. So it's up to you if you want to sit there with them in the LifePac workbook and do the lesson with them and then they work independently, or literally you could hand your kid this unit and be like, go do your lesson. If you need help, come find me. So that's cool. That is one really intriguing thing about LifePac to me, especially in those older years. Okay, we tried LifePac Bible, just one book to try. It felt set up. Tell me, Dawn, what do you mean by that, set up? My 7th grader is smarter than me. Yeah, my kids are probably going to be well beyond me by the time they're, honestly, even now, some of the things that they know, I'm like, what? How do you even know that? What is a good, the pre-K curriculum, Sierra, that we use is this one that I was showing her, Horizons. This is like the best. I love this preschool curriculum. This one, let me show you. This is the teacher's guide for the preschool. And it's broken down. This is like, sometimes when you read through these teacher's guides, you're gonna be like, why does this sound like we're in a classroom? Because Horizons is used in private schools and LifePac as well. So if you hear it say like, ask your students this, and you're like, my students, these are my kids. It's written for teachers, that's why. But everything in the preschool teacher's guide, it's broken down like, learn a letter each day, learn a number, we're learning our colors, we're learning our shapes. Just, it's super sweet. This is gonna be my 2nd kid that I've used Horizons Preschool with now. My daughter went through the Christian Light Kindergarten in 6 months. Yeah, that program is not a full year program. We just went right into the next level after that. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And you said you went to the IXL. Yeah, I love IXL. And if you're not sure like what level your kid is on in specific subjects, aside from just doing placement tests specifically with curriculum, IXL is a good one to look into too. Is Horizons comparable to the Good and the Beautiful? So to me, Horizons is more of like a legitimate curriculum. Like I couldn't, I gotta be careful with what I say. We did not have the best experience with the Good and the Beautiful. It kind of felt like thrown together and not, it was like all over the place, not very organized. Horizons is like a legitimate research-based curriculum. Now, I don't know, Good and Beautiful might be research-based too, but I just know like with Horizons and LifePac, these are actual curriculums that private schools adopt and that, you know, produce specific test scores if that's important to you. We just did not get that same sense of like legitimacy with the Good and the Beautiful. But I always say that every curriculum works different for different families. The Good and the Beautiful is a marketing scam. I'm like trying to be quiet because I don't know like the rules on like a sponsored live and what I can say. Oh yeah, I know it's hard when you first start and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I know this. So this live chat that we're doing obviously is specifically about LifePac and Monarch online and Horizons because it's sponsored by AOP. But like my normal weekly lives, I just literally throw out every piece of curriculum that I have on the table and we dive into all of it. And I can freely talk bad about certain companies and not, but with this and it's a little different. That's why I'm being a little bit censored. Oh, Christy, you said, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. That's what happened to us. We thought we were gonna love it and then we realized. But like I said, you don't know until you try. And a lot of curriculum companies, like I was showing you when we looked and they had like the free samples and the PDFs you could scroll through, like being able to see the inside is great. But again, until you actually try it, you just don't know what's gonna like work for your kid. Yeah, it's so hard. This one that somebody was asking about this one, this is the teacher's guide that I'm holding up. So one way when you use LifePac, like when I'm digging through my LifePac box and I'm like, oh, what unit am I on? Where's my teacher's guide? The teacher's guides have like this gloss to them. See how this is kind of like shiny? The student workbooks are more matte. It doesn't have that super gloss to it. And then the teacher's guide is a little thicker. The individual student workbook center. So that's the easiest way when you see me holding them up. Teacher's guide, student workbook. There's 10 of these per subject, per grade level. And that's the math. Tiana said, when does the code expire? This 20% off is like, they're calling it a flash sale. It is a random thing that they were like, hey, here you go, 20% off to your followers. April 14th. So what is today? The 10th, the 9th? So this expires April 14th. They do have little sales here and there, like a spring sale, but it's never 20% off. That's like the biggest discount I've seen them do. Do you suggest LifePac or Horizons for a more detailed reading comprehension, spelling, and phonics? Okay, what grade level, Ashley? Because I don't know if you were here earlier when I was saying it, Horizons for the phonics and the reading does not go past 3rd grade. So you're saying 2nd grade? 2nd grade is one of those grades where you could go either way. For me, because I know that LifePac, the individual workbooks, go all the way to the 12th grade, I'm more apt to like lean towards using this just because I know my kid can stick with it all the way through. However, if you have a kiddo who needs a little bit more like hand holding, like a little bit more of a gentler ease into things, then Horizons, that 2nd grade phonics and reading might be a better fit. Again, it's like so hard to say with your individual needs and situations, but I just like that the LifePac language arts goes all the way through to the 12th grade. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel too. I know. It's having the individual workbooks is so beneficial. Especially like I was saying, because this is mastery based. Like let's say in this language arts booklet, we are focusing on, I'm going to show you the table of contents here. Hold on. Okay, like short stories. We're learning to read and write short stories. If my kid is struggling with those short stories, we're sticking with this unit workbook. Like I'm not moving on to the next unit workbook. I don't care how many days it takes us. They're going to master that skill before we move on. It's just nice to have it in the individual workbook like this instead of this big giant textbook where I feel like, oh my gosh, we're falling behind. We're not getting through the book. With the individual workbooks, it's nice. And my kids get really excited when, with our Bible curriculum that we use, it's like, oh, pulling out a new unit. Like, it's exciting instead of using like the same textbook all year long. Totally depends on your needs though. That's, again, it's like all comes down to preference. And some, like when you first start homeschooling, you're like not sure what your preference is, right? So it's overwhelming because you think maybe this will work, maybe that will work. And you don't know until you actually get it. We've been homeschooling for 5 years now and I'm still trying to figure it out. These are all open and go. Okay, that's another thing we should probably talk about. So open and go curriculum, that term open and go, literally means you can sit down, open and go. Like in the car, to the park, to the library, whatever. Everything you need is right here. I just randomly opened to this page, but like LifePac math, for example, your fractions, your lesson, the pictures, your workspace, everything is here in this one unit workbook. Compared to non-open and go curriculums, which would be more like comprehensive, where you have manipulatives and you have like a whole bunch of stuff you have to bring with you and prepare for before you even do the lesson. That is not ideal if you are homeschooling multiple kids. If you're on a tight schedule, having something open and go is really beneficial. However, if you do have more of like a hands-on learner and they need those materials and those manipulatives and they need all the preparation before the lesson, then maybe open and go is not the best. But from my experience, open and go, it's like so convenient, like literally open and go. You know what I mean? So that's another thing about LifePac, because they are these individual unit workbooks. If this is the unit we're on, I'm throwing this in my purse, we're getting in the car and we're out. I'm not having to bring like my giant teacher's guide and my giant student workbook and the manipulatives and the flashcards. It's just open and go. Christy said, is Horizons mastery based? No, Horizons is a spiral based curriculum. LifePac, the one that you see me holding up here, mastery, meaning your kid stays on the same topic for quite a while, masters it, gets really good at it, and then moves on to a new topic. Horizons, you learn a little something new each day, and then spend the rest of the lesson reviewing. And that is the biggest thing, like, again, when you first start, you might not know what style your child is. Are they a mastery learner? Are they a spiral learner? Maybe they're a little mix of both. Like for us, we use LifePac Bible. That's a mastery-based curriculum. but we use the Horizons Health spiral. I like to mix and match, just kind of depends on your style. Yes, Horizons is also open and go, Tuck. So they're both open and go curriculum, and they're very minimal prep work. Horizons, because it is geared towards like younger learners, there's like a little alphabet chart that comes with the kindergarten program, and very minimal things to use with that program, but it is still considered open and go. The phonics, so Kim said, what about the phonics and the reading in these? The LifePac that I'm holding up here for the language arts, this is the 4th grade level. This is I just opened this today. Like, I'm so excited. I'm gonna dive in and see like how heavy it is with the phonics and the reading. The Horizons program though, over here, this Horizons kindergarten program is all phonics. So you can even, Horizons, phonics and reading. Fully phonics, like it is a phonics heavy program. And then they do have little reader books that go with that program for your comprehension. Your kid reads a story, you ask them questions, did they understand it? Yes, Horizons is meant to last a full school year. So 7 machine. Now, but again, depends, what is your school year? Like, some people like to have their homeschool schedule be the full 180 days or whatever the school system is. Some people like me, I do year-round homeschooling where we don't take a summer break. Like, we just keep going all year long. If you're using Horizons, you will be able to fit it into a typical school year, 180 days or whatever it is, because remember, Horizons is actually used in the school system. Like, this is a very popular curriculum for private schools. So it's kind of set up to be able to meet everything within those 180 days. Yes, all of this, Horizons, LifePac, and Monarch is all Christian curriculum. This is all faith-based curriculum. And it is not, it's not light on the faith. Like, even the health curriculum, I was saying earlier, if you were here, like, they're gonna incorporate the Bible into the health, into the PE, into the math, into everything. The math is one, like, you could maybe get away with it, but they pretty much infuse the biblical principles with all of their subjects. Yes, yeah, the PE, you were asking if the PE is like more secular. Basically with the PE curriculum, like I was showing you earlier, there are usually in the explanations where it's talking about like God's design and the creation of our bodies, but it's not impacting the skill that they're learning for that day, if that makes sense. Callie, we are using the LifePac. So the individual workbook ones that I was showing, that's what we've been using for Bible for the last 3 years now, which is that is so crazy. I feel like we just started using LifePac. We've been using it for 3 years. It looks like this. Individual workbooks, Bible, and that's what it looks like. And again, this is independent. Like, I could just hand this to her and she could take off and do the whole lesson by herself. We've kind of been using this more family style though, so it's flexible, but it is an independent style. Nikki, how's the math with confidence going? She's loving it. My 1st grader is loving it. My 3rd grader doesn't even want to try it. So far though, but it is a lot of prep work with that one. Like, I think they say it's open and go, but like, I don't know. I don't feel like it is. Flores, I have not used the LifePac for math. This is my first real experience getting to like dive into the individual math workbook, so I can't really say, but all these LifePac workbooks do have the quizzes. They call them like self-tests, and then the final unit test, like all the assessments and everything are included. Oh, that's cute. There's like even a little note-taking section in the back. I love that. Anyways, they put the test right there in the booklet, so you know where your kid is at. I know, I totally agree. These, it's 10, Hillary, 10 workbooks per subject. My kids are peeking in through the window. What? No. They're like, are you done? I was supposed to stop 30 minutes ago, but there's so many questions. I want to get to them all. This one is, so I'm just holding the one single workbook. Somebody was asking, is that it for the math? This is just one of 10. So what I really am going to do, like I opened everything up because I wanted to show it on the live, but I am seriously, you guys know how I am when I look into a curriculum. I'm going to really deep dive into especially the LifePac math, because the only other mastery-based math that I'm familiar with where it's like true mastery is Math UC. We used that for a little while. It was okay. This being mastery, I'm so interested to see like how it works. Is the pre-K 4 so good if you don't? Yeah. Oh yeah. The little CD that comes with this preschool that I was showing you. This one, so cute. This is just like extra. It's an extra supplement. You'll see in your teacher's guide, it'll say like extra, like play song number 5 from the CD, but you do not have to. This is not going to impact your lesson if you don't have a CD player or whatever. Honestly, you might even be able to YouTube, or maybe maybe I'll ask them if they have the songs like uploaded on their website or something. They should totally do that if they haven't already. Okay, Rose is asking, is there a schedule with the LifePac? So that is the one weird thing when I first started looking into this, like, wait, what? It is not broken down into daily lessons, like the way our brains think, like, okay, day 1 we do page 2, day 2 we do page 3, day 3. It's not like that. This is what is considered to be a self-paced program, meaning you can finish 5 pages today, you can finish 2 pages today. It's based on your kid, your schedule. It's super flexible. But when you first look into the LifePac workbooks, you're like, wait a minute, like where do we stop? When do we stop? It's totally up to you. I will tell you with the Bible, I typically do the lesson together as a family. So I'm going to show you an example of how we use our LifePac Bible. So here's the reading part of the lesson. There's typically a reading part. And then after the reading part, there's an activity. So like it says, complete the activity. The way that I usually do it with my kid is I tell her, okay, you're going to complete the first activity and then you're going to stop for the day. Or if I see the activities like basic, I'll say, okay, complete that activity and then go into your next reading. So again, it's self-paced. You can be flexible with how you do it. But that's how like my brain works with it. But it is weird at first with self-paced. And Monarch Online, their online curriculum is the same way, where you can assign them lessons per day, but it's at their own pace. So it'll tell them like, hey, you're falling behind, like you should have completed a little bit more, but it's not like kicking them out of the program or something if they don't complete the lesson. It's very gentle. It's self-paced in that way. I know, same thing with me. That's how I feel. Okay, I really am gonna have to go because my kids are staring at me through the window wondering why I am still working. So what I'm gonna do is any questions that I did not get to, which I still have a whole list in front of me that I didn't even get to answer all of today, but hopefully I answered most of it. This 20% off thing is just a special thing that AOP is randomly doing. They're calling it their flash sale. That is only good till April 14th. So any of this, the Horizons, the LifePac sets, or the online Monarch, is that 20% off code will work for that, but only till the 14th. I have a playlist on my TikTok channel called AOP Homeschooling, tons of videos on there. If you see the sponsored tag, you're gonna see the sponsored tag on a lot of my AOP videos. I am sponsored by AOP. They send me a lot of this curriculum for free so I can talk about it, but don't let that does not impede my ability to review. Like, I am very honest with my reviews, so you'll see that they are sponsored, but don't let that freak you out. And then YouTube is the other one where I have the full deep dive into Horizons. I'm going to be doing a full deep dive into the LifePac once I get to go into that a little bit more. And then Facebook. Facebook has a lot of my daily posts, like where we're doing our LifePac Bible and our Horizons pre-K. So keep an eye out for that. I know, Julie the Green, I'm finally like settled with it. This is just the first coat. We still have to do the second coat though. Okay, I am gonna sign off now. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. Just comment on one of my other videos or something. And then that code, again, that is till April 14th. All right, goodbye everybody. Thank you.